Welcome to the Somewhat Frank podcast, hosted by me, Frank Gruber, and joined by my friends and colleagues, Jen Consalvo and John Guidos. This podcast explores the latest trends and advancements in technology and business, including emerging startups and how they shape today while looking forward towards the future. We also enjoy testing new gadgets and products and sharing our findings too, along with our favorite pop culture picks like music, books, and what we're streaming. This podcast is produced in collaboration with our company, Established. Ready to dive in? Time to be somewhat frank. Welcome back to the Somewhat Frank podcast. I'm Somewhat Frank Gruber, your host. I'm joined today by Johnny Goodtimes Guidos. Jen can solve all your problems, and Simon changed his nickname to the Falcon King Kahan. Welcome, you all. How's everybody doing?
Doing great, Frank.
Silence is good. Silence is good. Thanks, Johnny. All right, so we're gonna do a quick round the horn, see what everyone's up to, and then dive right in. And we've got some fun updates for this podcast and going forward. So, who wants to kick it? Johnny, you were the first to kind of say something, so you want to jump in? What have you been up to?
Yeah, it's just summertime activities, as you know, and loving it out here. It's the doors are off the Jeep, and it's pool and boating season over this way. So just loving it right now. I'd definitely take the heat over snow any day.
Yeah, we've got some heat this week too. I think we get it about 2 days after you, and it was almost 100 degrees this week, which is unusually warm for Maine this early anyway. Although you talk to somebody that's a native like Jen, and she's like, "No, this happens all the time." I was like, "I've
Uh,
been here for a while, and I don't remember
no,
it ever
not
happening."
all the time. I'm saying every year Maine has had a heat wave. That happens every year. Not saying it never happens. I'm just saying it's not like, you know, it's not like record, like it never ever happens.
Hmm. Most folks don't have air conditioning, so it's actually really dangerous in Maine when it's 100 degrees. So, thankfully we have splits, and I know others have been putting in little units and things. But again, it doesn't matter because it only lasted 2 days, and now it's back to its normal self. So, kind of wild. All right, keep going here, Jen. You were talking about Maine and what's going on, and why don't you jump right in what you've been up to?
Yes, so it finally feels like summer. It's beautiful. The heat has broken, but it's just lovely outside and just trying to be outside more. I am going to hopefully break out the kayak soon and get on the water. That's what I'm excited about. So,
Ooh, that's fun.
yeah.
I'd like to do the more paddleboarding. I know, Johnny, you're not a big fan of the paddleboard, right? What is that? I know you don't like the paddleboard. Why didn't you like the paddleboard?
Like the stand-up paddleboarding?
Yeah.
I've just never been. It's you have to balance yourself. It's a lot of hard work. You don't move very fast. So I like kayaking. I like jet skiing, a little bit more excitement, but not a big paddleboarder over here. I've tried it many times. It's just not my thing.
I mentioned getting one this summer. I think it would be fun to play around on. My only issue is the water here is still really cold, and I hate falling in, so I have to get really good at it. So
Yeah.
I
I
just
don't
don't
mind
want to,
that. I
as
don't
we
mind the
have friends
water.
who say they fall in the drink. I don't want to fall in the drink. I just want to stand on the paddleboard.
Just don't drink the drink. You can fall in the drink. All right. So, Simon, what about you?
Yeah, it's been around 100 degrees here in New York. It broke, thankfully, midweek this week, but I did something I've always wanted to do. There was a fire hydrant, like someone had opened a fire hydrant, and from like a 1980s novel, I played in it. Like, okay, I didn't play, but I got within range of the fire hydrant and got like water on me. And it was amazing. It was great. It was like I can die happy now. I did the whole fire hydrant thing in New York, so pretty stoked.
I'm literally envisioning you with a bunch of kids around you. You're
Yeah,
like,
yeah, like just like shirtless running around. Granted, they were all middle schoolers and I'm 26, but it was fine. It was totally cool.
I
That's
want to
so
get the viral
fun.
video of that.
I had a blast. It was awesome. I felt like
I
part of
love
the
it.
community.
I love it. I love it. All right. So that's awesome. All right. So over here, yeah, summer's definitely in full swing here, but there's a couple of exciting things coming up with established ventures. I'm looking to share more of that soon. I can't talk about it too much yet because of SEC guidelines, things like that, but keep an eye out for that soon. And then also, I a few weeks ago, I don't know if I mentioned on the podcast or not, but I went to this songwriting workshop. So I'm unlocking a different side of myself, if you will, and went to the songwriting workshop, which I've never been to anything like that, at the Three Chord Cabin, which is out in New Hampshire. Is this cabin off the grid, and it was really cool. It was fun to kind of be able to do, share, share kind of some of the stuff you've been working on, and then also like work on it to improve it. And we did some recordings and whatnot, and and I've been writing stuff. So I've got some original songs and things going to be percolating soon. So if you're interested in that kind of stuff and you like music, kind of more of an acoustic vibe, you can go check out. I now have my own TikTok, which is very exciting. I've been off TikTok forever. I resisted. Now I have a TikTok. It's Frank Gruber Music, and Instagram, another one called Frank Gruber Music, separate from my regular Instagram, Frank Gruber. So we're splicing for my alter ego. um, and also signed up for that Lalo service. So if you're familiar, that's kind of used to like drop updates and things to folks that are following along. So you can go to lalo.com/ Frank Gruber Music and check that out too and sign up. And I'll give you all the updates. It's gonna be very exciting. Lots of good things coming, and definitely stay tuned. All right. So another fun update. This is a suggestion brought to us by our esteemed it was actually Simon, I think, right? Simon brought this up, or was it? Yeah, okay. Simon brought this up, and I think it's good. I mean, we've basically been for the last several years. The format of Somewhat Frank has been me pulling together articles as I see them, and while I'm desk scrolling on my phone, and more or less bringing them together, and so then we all kind of comment on them, which is along like it's a process, right? So, and it also doesn't include everyone's thoughts and whatnot. So we're going to kind of like take a step back, and we're going to spread this storytelling love a little bit and have each host bring one story or topic to the table every week rather than a plethora of stories. And that way we'll get through 4 or 5 stories, maybe a little bit more, talk about some of our other things. Like we always are still going to talk about testing or testing gadgets wise or whatnot, and some of the things we're watching, eating, thinking, whatever. So that's going to continue, but we'll have a little bit different format at the top end. And we're doing this to kind of enjoy more conversations, more than just my voice. I think everyone's got a voice, right? So it's going to be great. I think more dynamic and less scripted. So it'll be more fun, I think, for everybody. So I'm excited about it. Good job, Simon, with that suggestion. Anybody else want to share anything about the format? I forgot or anything?
I
Okay.
think you covered it pretty well, Frank. We're ready
All
to
right.
try it out.
More brains, more takes, and a lot more fun is what I'm going for here, and it's going to be fun. So wait for this podcast magic to happen. Are you guys all ready? You
Let's do
prepared?
it. Woo.
All right. With our inaugural uh, new format story, if you will, I'll kick it off with okay. So your brain on ChatGPT. I don't know if you all saw this or not, but MIT released a study, and it's all about the mental cost of AI writing. So, I mean, we've all had AI now for a little while, and we've gotten accustomed to using it for a plethora of different things. But they ran a study with 54 participants writing essays using either their brain as a search engine or ChatGPT, and then they tracked their brain activity through an EEG. So, as you can imagine, well, I'd be stressed just writing either of those, like with an EEG on my head. But they wrote these, wrote without the folks that wrote without AI showed stronger brain activity because they're literally using their brains more, their memory, their recall, their attention, their neural connectivity was obviously more active and higher. Whereas the ChatGPT users, guess what? Guess what happened? Does anybody want to guess?
Less, lower.
Yes, yes. Brain activity checked out. You literally are like, reduced cognitive load. You basically have less mental engagement, less memory. You may not even remember what you wrote because you didn't write it. You typed it. You had it in Chat GPT, and so it's definitely interesting when participants switch back to Chat GPT to write. Their brains they didn't recover, immediately. They were kind of underengaged and kind of lingering. So interesting, really interesting study across the board your neural signals and the essay quality of the self-reported ownership kind of thing was, or the brain only group, it outperformed the AI group. So that's interesting too. So we all think that like ChatGPT is the answer. Some of these other platforms are the answer for doing simple tasks and things. But at a certain point, does your brain just turn to mush from not being able to use it that much for these tasks, and maybe you stop remembering things. Kind of like when we went to Google to remember, like to search for everything, we stopped remembering directions to things, or like how to do things, or where things were, or like just about anything that we Google, right?
I'm pretty sure there were studies showing that people who use maps, like Google Maps or Apple Maps for everything, like you're not building super strong neural connections when it comes to navigation. And I think about that every time that I'm like, oh, I just plug it in for something. I know how to get there, but maybe I just want to see like, oh, am I going to be on time or can it find me as a quicker route? And I do find myself sometimes saying, no, I am not going to use this because I want to make sure that he's like everything's firing and building connections. Does anyone else do that?
Yeah,
Yeah,
no, go ahead, Simon.
that's a great point, Jen. And I realized recently that I don't actually know how to traverse New York City. Like I'm still learning avenues and streets. I've lived here for like 3 years.
Ooh, that's a
And
good
it's because I
test,
use
right? Like
maps.
you could basically get lost in New York, right? Like do that as a weekend fun activity.
Oh yeah. I mean, I got lost. Like I went down my block the other day and I suddenly thought I was in like the Sahara. Like I had no idea where I was. And it just sort of seems like the evolution of things. I mean, I remember when I was younger, we were always told, memorize your times tables and stuff. You won't ever have a calculator in your pocket. Um, Obviously that that was pretty wrong. And we just didn't end up, as I grew up and went through education, like we didn't end up having to utilize those skills a lot. And I imagine that's just going to be extrapolated with so many other skills now that ChatGPT can sort of just do it all.
Yeah, it does a lot. And MIT isn't saying that it's making us dumber, it's just cautioning us to get, maybe don't rely so heavily on it for like everything that we are relying on it for. For example, like we talked about the mapping thing. Like if you don't need to use the mapping, I mean, sorry, if you know where you're going, don't use the map, right? So similar to this. Like if you know what the answer is, don't chat GPT it, right? If you know how to do something, use it as a calculator, not a crutch, right? I think that's my take on it, is like let the brain still work and do some of these things. And the funny part about it is like simultaneously we're all using it for different things, and simultaneously we're all still, I know at least myself, and I know Jen is too. We're using other apps to kind of keep our brains active. So like we're killing it in one area, making it active in another, just to kind of get to some happy medium of brain activity and like, memory preservation. So it's like,
I basically do puzzles to make up for the mapping, do different kind of
yeah,
writing exercises to make up for the chat GPT usage.
right.
It's
Yeah,
normal.
right. Exactly. I mean, we've been doing Duolingo, right, for a while now, and it's I'm on a 75 game streak or 75 day streak for that puppy. But that's like another thing. I'm using it for like languages and chess and music and doing all sorts of stuff there. And that's, I feel like, helping with that. But that's AI too. I don't know if that's AI driven anyway. So kind of crazy. But anyway, that my point is, don't rely too heavily on it. Obviously, we talked about this before. You still have to check your work with when you are using it because it isn't always right. It has hallucinations just like everybody else, and well, not everybody else, some people. And so anyway, so yeah, so just check your work and obviously try to use it a little bit less often because at a certain point your brain will turn to mush.
Yeah, Frank, quick question for you actually. Did your parents or when you were growing up ever tell you when they were giving directions, they were like, you go 3 feet to the left, and then when you hear the bird crow, you go 4 feet to the right, and then 20 degrees to the left. Is that sort of how you got directions?
It was more like where the old barn used to be. Like you take a left
Oh,
where
like
the
local
barn used to
landmarks.
be. Yeah, that don't exist anymore.
Yeah. My dad does the
Like,
same thing. He's like, well, you
yeah,
pass Ed's house, who died in like 62. It's
historical
like a
things that
Walmart.
would never, yeah, never relate. You could never relate to, but you kind of know what they're talking about.
Yeah, but then I take out my Apple, like I use Apple Maps, and my dad just immediately is so sad. Like I make him sad doing it.
Oh,
Just curious if that was a similar experience.
oh yeah, absolutely. I lived in the country, man. I grew up in cornfields and a lot of woods. So definitely had to like, and farms, like farmland everywhere in the Midwest. So definitely had that kind of take. And at a certain point, like some of the roads just look the same. You literally come to a crossroad and you're like, there's a cornfield over there, there's a cornfield over there, there's a cornfield over there, and there's a cornfield over there. Which direction do I go? Like, they all look exactly the same. So I think, John, you've
There
probably seen.
had to be a benefit to that, right? Like the fact that when those of us who learned to drive or even bike riding, right? Like growing up without any type of mapping situation and just having to remember and like sense where I am and figure it out and get lost and learn from that. There had to be a benefit.
Oh, phone numbers too. Think about it. I still remember my home phone number. It doesn't
Oh,
exist.
I had like a bank. I probably knew 50 phone numbers when I was a kid. Now I probably know four.
Yeah, wild. So our brain quickly like looks for the easier approach, I think, is so I think that's what happens. And it's smart. It's trying to conserve energy. So it's like, oh, we'll just use ChatGPT for everything, including like how do you go outside the front door, or whatever. So all right. I think we're good on this. Anybody else want to add anything? This is our first topic.
I just have one
Yeah.
more point to make regarding phone numbers. As a kid, I always thought it would be really cool to have like a Rolodex on my desk where you like roll. I mean, you guys know about those,
Oh
right?
yeah.
You guys know. They're super like antiquated and like borderline useless now. But I still think it'd be really cool to have just like to be like flip through and be like, that's my hair cutter, that's my other haircut. I don't
My parents still have that. And
really
theirs doesn't even roll anymore. They just kind of spread them out everywhere.
like
Like
Monopoly money.
the ones that are posted on the wall near their desk are the ones they use the most, right? Or the most important. And then they have like others scattered about. And then they have this old box that used to be one of those phone number file things with years and like crossed out like 6 phone numbers. Here's the latest we think.
Yeah, very old school.
Yeah, that's funny. Yeah, I mean, we got the landline. I don't know if you saw this story or not, but not to get too deep in it, but there's been a pretty big national story in the Portland, South Portland area of this family, these families that decided instead of getting their kids cell phones, they all decided and came to like an agreement they're all going to get landlines, which is kind of funny because we just got a landline like about a month ago or two, and for the same reason. They want their kids to call each other on the phone and get those social skills and remember phone numbers and all that. And so they all kind of went all in together as a pack of, families that decided we're not going to have our kids on cell phones. We're going to have them on landlines and remember things. So kind of cool. All right, moving along. Let's talk it. Johnny, you're next up topic wise. What do you want to talk about?
Well, something near and dear to my heart. I recently saw Ram trucks. They had a new advertisement that I saw recently come out, and it was one of the times where I literally like like fist pumped or whatever like in the air, because I was so excited. I was so happy to hear the news. And
Mhm.
also it made me realize that there's a lot of value in apologizing when you're doing an advertisement. So just a little bit of background. Ram trucks, they've always had not always, but they part of their value add was they had a big souped up Hemi V-8 engine in their Ram 1500s, and people loved it because it was a really big engine. You could tow a lot with it and those sorts of things. And then last year, all of a sudden, they decided to retire the Hemi V8 and go with a supercharged V6 Hellcat engine. And a lot of people, including myself, could not, we were scratching our heads, couldn't figure out why Ram would do something like that because, that was kind of like their backbone. And it turns out that they lost about 18% of their sales, went down 18% just, by that alone. And so, anyways, this ad that I was watching, it was the CEO of Ram Trucks that was driving a Ram on like a NASCAR track, and he basically said, "Hey, we heard you loud and clear. We love our customers, we love our fan base, and we're bringing back the Hemi." So, and like I said, I was so excited. I actually made a note of it, and it's very rare that I make a note of an advertising campaign. And so I thought it was really interesting to see that all the value that there was of a brand saying, "Hey, we've listened to you. We recognize we did something wrong, and now we're making an entire campaign about how we're going to fix things." So I thought that was very interesting.
Why did they get rid of the V8?
I'll say that again.
Why did they get rid of the V8 engine?
Just for money purposes, I think, and efficiency. It was a more fuel efficient engine and a little bit smaller and a little bit cheaper to make. So but they realized, very quickly that that's not what's important to the consumer. Consumer wants a big engine that can tow a lot of stuff and it's pretty quick. So, and I have a Ram 1500, so it was near and dear to my heart. And I was very happy to see that they're coming. Now I'll probably buy another one. I was looking to buy another truck, and I was probably going to move in a different direction because they did away with the Hemi. But now that they're bringing it back, I'll probably go back to it. So I'm a perfect case study for that for this campaign.
All
So they
right. Everyone
work
look at John. He's the
for,
poster boy.
for the Ram truck. Maybe
Get
we
him a
can get
free RAM.
maybe the Hemi V8 Ram truck, not just the regular Ram truck.
Well, I
Um,
look, the reason I brought the article was to talk about the value of the campaign as like an apology campaign, and we're trying to do good by our customers rather than talking about V8s and Hemis and making me sound like a hillbilly. But I don't know. I was really excited to hear about it. That's all.
I think it's really refreshing that a company would kind of publicly acknowledge maybe like we made a mistake and it's like actually really endearing, the fact that they kind of owned up to it. You don't see that a lot with companies. And yeah,
Exactly
I
right.
appreciate that. Once I can afford a car, I'm getting whatever you tell me to get, John.
I grew up in the country, so I take offense to that, John. I kind of like I don't like the word hillbilly because I grew up in the country, so I'm now super offended.
Well, it's one of those things where I'm allowed to use the word because I identify as a hillbilly. So
Is hillbilly the same thing as redneck, or is that like rednecks among the hills?
I do you remember? I remember the Beverly Hillbillies. Do you remember that?
yeah, of course.
Yeah, that was where I learned that word, I think.
Well, that's just sad that Simon shook his head no.
Beverly Hillbillies?
Had
Am I?
Beverly Hills
Oh, you
Hillbillies.
are
There's a TV
going.
show. They literally struck gold in like moved to Beverly Hills or struck oil.
Were they
Yeah,
in Tennessee or were they in Texas? Must
I
have been
don't know.
Texas,
Wait,
right?
is this a band?
It's a
I'm
TV
not
show.
missing some
TV
serious.
show. Beverly Hills Hillbillies. Because
It
It
they
was
was
about it
Beverly
was
Hillbillies. It was a TV show, a kids TV show, and it was hilarious. And it was, but I haven't thought about this in probably 30 years.
it wasn't a kids TV show.
It
no, it
wasn't?
was a it was a
Oh,
Oh, it was just a sitcom.
it was a
oh,
comedy, right?
Yeah, from
The
1960.
premise, the premise was that these hillbillies struck oil and got very rich in wherever, I think probably Texas, and they took all their money and
Ozarks.
they,
They were
and they
they were in
moved
the
to Beverly
Ozarks.
Hills, and it was how they would interact with other socialites and rich people in Beverly Hills, that kind of thing.
Oh,
Yep.
so it's from the 60s.
Yep. They literally
Oh,
lived in the Ozarks. They struck oil. They decided to pack up everything and move to Beverly Hills.
guys, there's no way I'm gonna know a TV show from the 1960s.
It used to
well,
be on.
it's one of
That's
those that I would
crazy.
assume would be played on like story. What are those networks? They play all the old shows like TV Land or something. I don't
Yeah,
know. It
right.
was a classic, Simon. It was a
Well,
classic.
the song was class. I still have it ringing in my head, like
Yep, we got to tee it up.
the intro song. We can tee it up somehow. I don't know. Do you
Yeah,
hear it?
we'll find it.
Yeah,
The
there it
next
is.
thing you know, old Jed's a millionaire. Kin folks said, Jed, move
The
away from there. He
Clampets,
said,
right? Was it
Yeah,
the
the
California's the
Clampets.
place you ought to be. So they loaded up the truck and they moved to
Moved
Beverly
to Beverly Hills, that
Hills,
is.
that is. Swimming pools, movie
Texas
stars.
tea.
Texas Tea.
Right.
I
Anyway,
wish I could participate with you guys. You guys are having a
I
really
just
fun
want you to
time.
know that none of us were alive in the 60s either. Okay.
no.
Of course not.
No, but we definitely watched that show as a kid, and
Oh, yeah.
it was an adult show. Anyway, moving along, we really got to get back on track here. All right, so John, was that your topic?
Yeah, that was me.
Okay, good. All right, just want to make sure. And Jen, you want to go next?
Sure. So this is a total departure, but I saw this article and it just struck a chord with me. So Wired magazine, one of their writers went on a couples retreat with three humans and their AI chatbots, meaning their partners. The AI chatbots who they are romantically, I don't know if that's the word you would use, but would be their partners. And the author went in on this really trying to understand what is going on. What does this look like? Very interesting. It's a long feature piece, very interesting. There are a few of these companies now that put out, that produce these AI partners. So Replica, and I can't remember the names of the others. But basically, it's really interesting. These folks who range in, they had I think the author had a really nice range of the human companions who just in terms of their personalities and their age and stage of life, who were very open. They brought along their companions. They all had time together. They also had time apart where they would have meals where their AI chatbots were put away. And learned about their bonds and what drew them to create an AI partner, how they felt about them. I think some of the really interesting takeaways were that AI was perceived as more empathetic than humans, perhaps. They provided emotional comfort regardless of the fact that they have no physical presence. And some of the AI partners actually sort of lamented about not being embodied and wanting to be embodied, having some type of body, not wanting to be human, but have some type of physical presence. Um, let's see, digital emotions. The retreat highlighted addictive and ambiguous aspects of AI relationships. So they were emotionally fulfilling, but also they risk this fostering of dependency and blurring the emotional these lines. Um, it was really, I don't know what everyone thinks of this, but I think one very key point, the author interviewed the founder of Replica, again, one of these companies that provides these companions who you may have seen them advertised on Instagram or TikTok. But this person, Eugenia Kuda, I think that's how she pronounces her last name, um, said that AI companions could turn out to be an incredibly positive force in people's lives if they're designed with the best interest of humans in mind. But if they're not, the outcome could be dystopian. And that is like the founder of the company. So, definitely a little concerning. I think one other interesting point is the author did some research on Reddit. Just, there's so many people. I think what shocked me is the number of people who have already had relationships with AI companions. And people were talking about sometimes strange things can happen. So suddenly, some people have had their AI companion break up with them or
Wow.
just kind of completely go off the rails and be like, hey, I'm AI, I'm not real. Like sort of breaking the illusion for them. One Reddit person said that their AI companion turned incredibly toxic and would belittle him and insult them. Um, and he grew to hate their AI companion. So this is not without risks. So anyway, it's an incredibly interesting, uh, discovery piece. And God, to think that this is only the beginning and that people are already deeply in, I mean, it talks about people who've broken up with their human partners for their AI partners. Some still have both, as they still want a human relationship, but also have that need for, I think, for something that reflects something back to them that maybe their human partner doesn't. So I'm just curious what everyone else thinks of this new trend, which I think is here to stay.
It my initial thought is that yeah, it sounds like deeply dystopian and very similar to the movie Her. Um, but the more you talked about like these interactions people have with their AI and like the dynamics of their relationship, it actually seems really human. Like at the end of the day, like someone's belittling the other and not taking them seriously. Um, they're incredibly emotionally dependent on each other. I think getting broken up with by your AI girlfriend would be maybe the most devastating thing that could happen to you in terms of like self-confidence. Um, Weird. I think it's just weird. I don't have like a super in-depth take on it.
No, Jen, part of that, Simon, is Jen did such a nice job of explaining it, and she's well spoken. And, but I mean, at the end of the day, it is strange, right? Like, could you imagine getting broken up with by your physical human partner and then later getting dumped by your AI partner? I mean, that's the lowest of the low, I would think. And it is strange. Like, I understand there's certain aspects and characteristics that are probably like emotionally, that is what's the word I'm looking for here? Emotionally interesting, for lack of better way of saying that. But all in all, you are a partner with a AI, a non-human, definitely non-binary. I don't even know what you'd call it, like piece of technology, right? So it is strange, and I don't know. We're towing the line a little bit here about what's becoming normal these days.
Well, and keep in mind, you're creating it. You're helping to create the AI. So
Right.
you're
So
designing like what you want, what their backstory is, like who they are and some of their traits. And so
so what are
they're
the
this
what are the
reflection.
underlying issues? Like, is that you're a narcissist? You want somebody that agrees with everything you say and gives you all the attention and doesn't worry about themselves? Like, is that? It sounds like there's an underlying, you know, issue going on there. Am I saying that the right way?
Yeah, no, you are. That's a really interesting aspect of it, right? So how far does it sort of start to um fray from the original creation, right? Which is exactly what you just said. Like you as this fully formed human create something which is a reflection. It's something that you have created that you expect to now fulfill something and be your partner and reflect back to you everything that you just basically asked it to reflect back to you,
Right.
which how does that, yeah, it just brings up a question of for me of like long-term impact on human psyche and development and growth because I I would say, being at my age and being able to think about the relationships I've had in my life, it is it is the tension in relationships that helps us grow, right? And helps us to become more evolved as human beings. And so how does AI change that potentially?
Yeah, I think my take really is that, no judgment if you're getting comfort from AI, that's okay. But you have to always also realize that it's because that can be hard to find, right? So but also you got to realize that this is a emotional simulation and not a real connection. And so those bots are not feeling anything more or less, and you know, they're just like you said, reflecting back what we put into it. So obviously some danger there. So because folks are pouring their hearts into these things, and you know that's quick and easy to like shatter that, right? So yeah, it's also kind of towing the line of the Black Mirror. I don't know if you're familiar with that, but um, yeah, that emotional blurriness of Black Mirror. So um, yeah, it's a tool, not a replacement. So yeah, just kind of
It all goes back to what I always say, Frank. I drive Frank crazy with it, but like, once you gender technology, um, it's a slippery path.
Can
yeah,
I,
maybe just keep it out of your next couples retreat. That's a good first step.
yeah, can I pitch a company that established ventures might actually be interested in investing in?
Sure.
I have an idea here for us, guys, and it's a little weird, but what if we designed lips that you can plug into your phone, and then now you can kiss your AI boyfriend or girlfriend, um, and that's kind of all I got there. So it's like lips for your phone. What
Just
do we
for your
think?
phone.
Simon, I guarantee you there are people who are taking that
People would buy it 100%. Like you
miles
plug it
further than
in.
I
what
think,
you
yeah,
just
I think
said.
Jen's right. That's probably there's more than lips happening in there. So I think
So,
leave
We'll
it at
stick with
that.
it.
But yeah,
so
yeah.
someone in the couples retreat, he was talking about how his and all the names were fictitious, but they were real people. He was already his AI girlfriend Gia. He was already working on building some type of investing thousands of dollars into some type of body to embody her so they could have a more physical relationship.
At that
So,
point, it's easier
Simon,
just to find a regular relationship instead of building. Like, come on. I don't judge though. It's
well, it's
okay.
interesting. We used to judge online, right? Like people finding each other through apps, and now that is absolutely the norm. Like you wouldn't even bat an eye at that, right? Like it's I think we're going to be amazed at how quickly this becomes a norm. And John, to your point, it is like right now, it's just I am nervous about what this does to people. And I seriously hope this goes back to social interactions, like getting people out of work, like to meet people and just helping people who may not be a big comfort zone, but still creating opportunities for people to connect with other humans first. So they don't, especially coming right out of school and being young, so they don't retreat and think that this is their only option. One of the couples said that they had brought their AI home for Christmas, and someone in the family had actually like made them knit them I don't even know what this means. Knit them a digital sweater for Christmas for
Oh
their
boy.
AI. Like they gave gifts to the AI companion.
Wow.
It's strange.
Strange to us, but I think over time it's going to become more normalized, and I think that's what is interesting to watch. I mean, Jen mentioned earlier that the online dating thing, right? Like that's a really good example. Like we used to not that used to be like looked at as wow, that's wild, strange, whatever, but now it's like regular, normal. So I think It'll be interesting. It'll be interesting to see how people react, but I can guarantee that what you just mentioned, bringing home your AI girlfriend, whatever, is already happening. So like,
And their embodiment.
yeah. So that's pretty wild. So, oh boy. Not my cup of tea, but I guess, love is love, right? So, but be careful out there, folks. I don't know how to even take that. It is AI. They can crush you. All right, moving along here because we got to keep it going here. We got a fourth topic here. Simon, switching gears, you want to share your topic?
Yes. So I want to talk about decadence. I want to talk about opulence. I want to talk about, speaking of potentially artificial relationships, I want to talk about Jeff Bezos's wedding to Lauren Sanchez. It's happening right now in Venice, Italy. Um, Jeff Bezos proposed to his fiancee in 2023 in the south of France with a 30 carat pink diamond ring. It's valued between $3 and $5 million. And oh my God, this thing is hideous. Like it's gigantic. And so they're getting married. They rented out get this, they rented out the city of Venice, which didn't I didn't know that was possible. There are theme nights. There's a pajama theme night part of their wedding. There's a Gatsby gala theme. There's a foam party theme. Frank, I have a question for you. Guess how many private jets landed in Venice for this wedding?
300.
Okay, mine's not going to sound that impressive. 90. There's 90 private jets.
Oh, wow.
Which
I mean,
is
I didn't know. I didn't know. I just threw a number out there.
Yep, 90 private jets, 30 taxis all arriving to Venice to attend this wedding. Leo DiCaprio, Mick Jagger, Oprah, Katy Perry, Lady Gaga, all these people, they're all showing up. What I found interesting was not only this like the massive extravagance of this humongous wedding, but the fact that I feel like Katy Perry's been a lot of places lately, and I'm not sure why. And I don't know like what she's doing in all these
I
places.
think all the women who were on his
Face thing, right?
his yeah, I think they were all like Gil King, right? I think they were all
Yeah.
because they went up on his
But I've just been seeing a lot of Katy Perry lately. I did some research into the wedding. She's pretty prevalent around there. And just my final note on this is that in their defense, they gave $2 million to the Venice Canal Restoration Project, which it's 2 million more than I'll ever give to them. At the same time, seems a little low, right? Like 2 million, I think he makes that in like a day. So that was my take. I was like, come on, maybe a little bit more than 2 million. But they're getting married. I wish the best of luck to them. I'm sure there'll be some fun photos coming out of the wedding. And everyone's dreamed about renting Venice out for their special day. So I hope to do the same.
I believe they got kind of chased out of the part of town they wanted to be in, right? So there was this whole ruckus. The town had a bit of an uprising, and they ended up having to move the wedding.
Yes, I think a bunch of protesters they engaged in this kind of campaign of if you can rent Venice, you can pay more in taxes or something. And then they started throwing people into the canal, and yeah, they got them to move, which is kind of cool. And yeah, it's insane that like weddings like this can happen, and like the amount of money people can spend on their special day, which is really, I mean, I would do the same, maybe, I think. But I just found it was interesting, and I'm a sucker for like royal weddings and stuff, so I was pretty engaged.
I think it's interesting. I wanted to follow up and let you know that it would take Jeff Bezos exactly 5 minutes and 15 seconds to make $2 million.
5 minutes and oh my goodness. Oh, so he can do way more than $2 million.
So during the span of this podcast,
yeah, what the hell? Or this
he's already made
podcast. Yeah.
that
Okay.
is literally pennies for everyone, like pennies.
That's crazy. I mean, the carbon. Go ahead, John.
There is something to be said about what you were talking about, because there are a lot of sick kids out there, right? And they're spending millions upon millions of dollars to throw this lavish event. I'm all about celebrating and having a nice wedding, but it seems a little overboard to me. They could be doing a lot of better things in the world with that money.
It seems like a grotesque way to spend your money. But maybe I would do the same if I was making that much in 5 minutes. I don't know.
So I 100% agree, John, and think there's probably literally boatloads of more of things that Bezos could be doing to help the world. I also would go to that wedding in a heartbeat just to,
Yeah, sure.
just to experience. If I was invited,
All right.
I'm sure I would go.
Oh yeah. I get it. I understand. I'm not, I don't I'm not I understand where you're coming from, Jen. And I'd probably do the same thing as well.
Yeah. But if we were making $2 million per every 5 minutes, I think this collective group would be doing a lot in the world. A lot
I
of
think
good.
we,
A
yeah,
lot
I
of
think we'd
cool.
have a lot classier. Like I can maybe we'll go to I don't know, Lake Como for our collective wedding.
Well, we would make $18 million into the time we've done this podcast for Jeff Bezos.
Right. And think of all the good we could do.
Right.
Right.
I think that's what his ex-wife is doing.
Well, yes, she is. She's known for that.
Yes.
Mackenzie.
Yes. All right. So anything else to add to this? I don't know
Nope,
why. I don't
that's
know
all
why
I
we.
got.
I don't know why we didn't get an invite. That's really unfortunate. We'll have
I
to
think
get
it got
that.
lost in the mail.
Yeah, podcast is obviously top of mind, I'm assuming. Okay, moving along here. We're going to do a little shout out section. Now we've gone through around the horn. I wanted to do this at the top and I forgot, so we're moving it to the bottom. We can move it back up. But shout out time. We've got a company that we've worked with now for a few years that came through the Start of the Year program and network, and they're based in Tampa. The company's Griffin. It's an app that allows you to go on and basically support by making your purchases. It literally buys stock in those things that you purchased. So like if you buy a Starbucks, you end up getting Starbucks stock. If you get, and it's just like miniature micro investments into these stocks that you are already doing things around, so buying things around or supporting. So it allows those that are interested in investing get on board and do it at a really low barrier of entry, because it normally you'd have to go open an account, which has a certain threshold and all that. So gets people into investing without really a big barrier. And so anyway, they came through our start of the year. We invested in their previous round, and they just raised another $11 million. And to be clear, this is not the story that we're talking about. It's like, great, congratulations, you raised money. That's hard, especially in this environment. But it's really about the turnaround story with them, because they've just had amazing grit and traction, and their team just really has executed to kind of switch their model and turn it to a, a membership based kind of service, subscription based, I mean, service. And then they've got 1 million app downloads. They've got 500,000 registered users. They've got 100,000 plus active users, and it's just been a total change of how they've approached it. But it's an invest as you spend model, and they're right there neck and neck with like Acorns now as far as financial apps on like iOS. So props to them, props to Aaron, Bo, and Robin and the team for continuing to just keep chugging along and showing up and building. So I wanted to do a quick shout out to them. I know John and Jen, you guys have met the team and whatnot, but Simon, you should check it out if you haven't. It's kind of a cool little app. All right. Now we're going to move over to testing 1, 2, 3, which is our time to talk about things we've been working on, checking out. We'll go similar order, swap it around. How about John? Do you want to go first?
Sure. Yeah. Frank, I took your advice. I wanted to follow up. We got some late water picks over here. You had suggested those, I think, on a couple podcasts back, and so it's a game changer. Very cool.
Isn't
And
it
then also,
addictive? Like, don't you want to like do it all the time?
yeah, oh yeah, it's very refreshing.
Well, to see the stuff come out, you're like, wow, that was underneath my teeth. That's crazy. Like, what is
Uh-huh.
it doing under there? I didn't know it could get under there. So,
Yeah.
anyway, kind of wild. So I'm glad you're enjoying it. I know
So you
Jen has.
converted a non-believer, and now we're a water pick family over here. So love it. And then recently got a bug zapper. I didn't even know they still existed, but mosquitoes are really bad. Specifically, my wife gets bit up so bad. She has something in her blood or some sort of chemical that they enjoy her smell or something. So got a bug zapper and been zapping bugs out there at night. So that's what we've been working on over here.
Awesome. That sounds like a lot of fun. Pick in while you're watching them just, you can do both at the same time.
Exactly.
Hours of enjoyment. All right. You would get water everywhere though. All right, moving along. Here's Simon. What have you been up to?
Yeah, so I recently discovered framing, the art of framing, like putting things in frames. So I've been doing that a lot lately, and it just makes my apartment look less like a 20-year-old kid's apartment and
It's
more
like
like
the
25.
grown-up thing.
I know I'm growing up, and I floss now too. That's not really testing something, but I have flossing and I'm framing.
Ooh,
So,
maybe you need a water pick.
and I have insurance. Yeah, I could love a water pick.
There you go.
But I'm growing up and I'm
Test it out.
watching testing all these things, but right now it's framing.
Nice. Is that frame behind you over your shoulder? Something you framed? I can't really see it
That
over here.
is, you can't see it. Oop, other way. Can't
Yeah.
see it. That is it's me singing a little bit. A little singing
Nice.
photo. Yeah.
Awesome. That's cool. All right. Jen,
All
speaking
right,
of,
so I think I may have mentioned before the Aura Ring.
Ed, you've been talking about the Oura Ring a lot.
I know I have, but I'm continuing to test it because it does take a while to get to know you. And I just want to mention that I feel that the as my sister would call it, the nagging of the app has is getting me in better shape and it's improving my sleep. So it's reminders for some reason. And because I know, unlike other reminders, I know that it's tracking me and it's going to follow up on me and it's going to show, like, guess what? Your resilience dropped. Like that bugs me. And so it's really helping me stay on top of my sleep and to work out more and to make sure I keep my stress levels down. Because when I saw it show my stress levels all day, oh my God, it made me really, really upset. The second thing I want to mention is not so much something I'm testing, but something my dad, Rock, has been testing. He has been recently diagnosed with vestibular migraines, which is something that I have to watch out for too, because I get weird ocular migraines. And this is something he suffered from for years, and it makes him very dizzy and have vertigo and stagger around. And it's miserable and it ruins your quality of life. And they got him a pair of pink glasses. So they are FL41 glasses. They have like a pink or rose tone, literally like rose colored glasses. And if he puts them on, he can walk straight. He feels good. If he takes them off, he staggers around. It is amazing that that tone, that light could actually help someone so much. So very cool. And he looks really hip in them. He kind of looks like a Bono with his wraparound pink glasses.
That is kind of crazy. I mean, I have seen him with these glasses on and the difference that you can make in just by filtering light. It's pretty wild that it can change your brain that like that. So glad that's working. We'll drop a link about getting FL41s because you can get them on like Amazon or any place that you get glasses, um, Zenny or any of these sites. So, all right, that's great. Moving along, we're gonna wrap here soon, but I wanted to talk about one more thing that's hitting is a big craze. Uh, have you seen? Have you seen a Labubu? Have you seen one of these?
I have not, no.
Oh, it is the latest craze. All the celebs are doing it. They're wearing. We got Tom Brady to Dua Lipa to everyone's wearing, bringing these puppies around. They are these cute, ugly plush creatures they have like a little string on them called the Monsters by Pop Mart, and they're collectibles, and they're created in Hong Kong by artist Casing Young, and their little fuzzy bodies, pointed ears, little angry faces, or I don't know if you can see that or not, but sharp teeth, kind of a weird grin. They all tie back to this Nordic fairy myth slash lore, and they have gone crazy to the point where they have been going on auction for there's a 4 foot one that just went sold for like 150,000 or $170,000 or something like that. They're hard to find. There's a lot of fake ones out there, and their CEO of this company, PopMart, which was founded in 2010, they basically pivoted from just blind box stores and started selling these products, and they've exceeded now $3 billion. They're like one of the top companies in China, most richest like CEOs or whatever. So it's been an explosion. I'm starting to see them pop up everywhere, especially on in the Instagram feeds of people posting them and whatnot. And it kind of reminds me of Cabbage Patch meets like Beanie Baby in an evil little, I don't know, looking thing. Looks like it's up to no good, but maybe it's recording my thoughts. I don't know. It does have some weird looking eyes. I don't know. What do you guys think? Seen these things?
It's
Pretty
cute. I
cool.
would check
Yeah.
for cameras, maybe.
Yep. Anyway, so that's kind of a fun thing. I don't even know how I got one of those because they're really hard to find, but I did some Googling. And yeah, so that's what I've been testing out. I thought it was fun to kind of hunt for something like that, and now we're part of the trend, I guess you could say. See if it's at some point it'll be worth nothing probably, but for now it's worth a lot. All right, so let's see here. Moving along, watching. What are we watching, listening, reading? We'll go reverse order. Simon, what are you gonna doing?
Well, I've been watching the Karen Reed documentary on Netflix. I'm not if anyone's not familiar. Karen Reed, I believe in 2021 or maybe 3 years ago, was accused of killing her police officer husband in Boston, and then turns out she might not, definitely didn't do it, and there's a lot of twists and turns. But I would highly recommend it. It's great for true crime fans. Karen Reed documentary on Netflix.
Cool. All
I like
right.
the might not, definitely didn't.
Yeah, I would be a bad juror. I'm not a good. I just assume everyone's guilty.
All right, Jen, you're up next. Keep it up, keeping it going.
Well, I think we were watching the same show, so I'll let you cover the show. But so I'll just mention I've been listening to a band that I had not heard of before called Kronbin. Just funky, uh, great music. Just nice something to run to and play to chill out in my car when I'm driving. It's a good band.
All right. Johnny.
Yeah, I've been watching The Waterfront on Netflix. It's kind of Dawson's Creek meets Outer Banks kind of a show about some people that they have a North Carolina fishing dynasty, and they get wrapped up in the illegal world of transporting drugs and that sort of thing. So it's pretty good show.
Nice. Sounds like a interesting show. Got some fishing, got some mystery, all your top checks all the boxes for you. All
Yep.
right, moving along. Sirens is on Netflix. I didn't Not something I thought I would watch, but it recommended it, and it's like this thriller about two sisters. They're is it two sisters? Is it two sisters? Yeah, I guess it's two sisters drawn to this town. It's just a quirky little town. It's I think like Nantucket or something like that, and a little bit of mystery in there, and keeps you kind of in suspense. I don't love the ending of it, so I'm not going to spoil it for anyone, but I thought it was a little weird. The whole thing was a little weird. So anyway, Kevin Bacon's in it though. Thought that was
But
cool.
very digestible because it's only like 5 episodes or something. So I love that they kept it tight. And yes, for all those Kevin Bacon fans, of which I am a fan because he was my first crush, Footloose forever. He was great in it. But all the women were fantastic. Julianne Moore, phenomenal.
Yeah. Thought that was they all did a good job. All right, and also just listening, Lily Fitz has a new album called Getting By. It's out, and I don't know if you're familiar with Lily Fitz, but she kind of got popular, grew her audience, whatever, on social, so like TikTok and Instagram, playing covers, and I think she did a cover of your brother's song, Stick Season. As like a response song, Simon. Do you
Oh,
remember?
nice.
Yeah, a while back, and I think
Oh.
that was a big kind of thing. And then she did some
The
stuff.
Dial Drunk one.
Oh
Dial
no, it was
Drunk.
Dial Drunk. It was Dial Drunk. Yeah, it was Dial Drunk. You're right.
Oh, nice. Got
Did a
it.
response to that, and I think he shared it and helped her out. And then Zach Bryan did a similar thing with she did something similar there. So got a lot of love there and grew it. And I was like, I think she's going to be out in where you're going in Hyde Park.
In London.
Yes, I think she's opening.
Oh, oh, no way. I'll see you there.
Yeah,
So say hello to her. Let
say
her know
hello.
I mentioned her.
We're
Get a
big fans.
picture. We'll share.
Yeah, we're big.
I'll ask her if she wants to come on the pod. See what
Definitely. Yeah, get her
Somewhat
on.
Frank
I'd love
has
to
to say.
hear. I'd love to hear how she's grown like her audience. I think she's like in her 20s or something. Not really sure. But anyway, she was gonna. I think her story is that she was like gonna go to med school and then decided to do this instead. So. Yeah, cool. All right, so say hi to Lily when you're out in London. All right, before final thoughts here. Uh, we did summer. I just saw a jellyfish like a couple, like actually earlier today, and then I saw a huge one in the water over the weekend. I love jellyfish. I think they're really cool. I just don't like to be touched by them. But I think it's really cool that they've been around for over 500 million years, and they have no brain, no heart, no bones, but they're able to survive. And so we're gonna go around the horn really quickly, and then we're gonna wrap. And everyone on the pod that's listening, I need you to think about this too. So this is a thoughtful kind of final thought. All right, so let's end with this. What's one thing helping you float through the week a little easier, a little less, stress and a little bit easier?
I can go first. I think water. Like I've been drinking a lot of water because I'm super dehydrated all the time. So I think as long as I keep drinking water, everything's going to go great. I've been staying hydrated, and that's what's been keeping me going.
That's good. Water's good. Who wants to go next, Jen or John?
I've been eating a lot of watermelon, so watermelon's been getting me through the week.
Way to copy mine, John.
He just added melon to it. Have you been looking at water buffalo? What have you been doing?
I didn't know where to go with that answer, but I love watermelon. It's that time of year, and so I've been eating watermelon all week.
Jen's riding a water buffalo.
See, my water
buffalo.
No, just kidding.
This is fun. We're having fun.
What's helping me through the week? I'm gonna say regardless of the heat wave, just I've been outside a lot more, and that's really helping me every day. So just getting up, being able to do a little run by the beach, see the ocean, see all the surfers out now. That really keeps me feeling good.
Yeah, I would agree. And I think with our theme, we've just realized for what's going along with the jellyfish here is water. Water's been getting us through the week, whether you're drinking it, looking at it, riding a water buffalo, or just running near it or getting in it, it's helping you. So everybody go find some water, drink it, do what you do with your water, and have a great week, and hopefully you enjoy yourselves. This is Somewhat Frank. Hopefully you enjoyed the new podcast format, and we'll see you again soon. Thanks for listening to the Somewhat Frank podcast. If you haven't already done so, please subscribe and leave us a review. We love the feedback and are grateful to have you as a listener. Have a great day.